The big space station hung in the darkness between the stars. It was huge, bigger than most cities on Earth. Lights blinked on its metal sides like small stars. This was the Galactic Forum, where all the different alien races came to talk instead of fight. Hyun-woo Kim walked down the long hallway toward the main meeting room. His shoes made soft sounds on the metal floor. He was getting old now, with gray hair and lines on his face. For 20 years, he had been the voice of humanity in this place. Behind him walked Da-Yun Park, a younger woman with quick eyes who helped him with all the hard work. "Another day, another argument," Da-Un said quietly. She carried a small computer that held all their papers and files. Hyun-woo smiled a little. Maybe today will be different, but deep down, he knew it would not be. The other aliens had been getting meaner to humans lately. They did not like that humans were good at solving problems. They did not like that humans had strong ships and smart people. Most of all, they did not like that humans always tried to do the right thing. The meeting room was huge. It had seats for over 400 different alien races. Some aliens were tall and thin like walking sticks. Others were round and fat like big balls. Some had many arms, others had no arms at all. Some breathed air, others breathed different gases. But they all came here to talk. Hyun-woo took his seat in the human section. It was not a very good seat. The humans had joined the forum much later than other races, so they got seats in the back. But Hyun-woo did not mind. He could still hear everything and speak when it was his turn. The forum's computer voice spoke in a cold metal tone. "Today, we will talk about the humans and what they did wrong in the outer spiral." Da-Un looked at Hyun-woo with worry. They had not done anything wrong. In fact, they had helped stop a war between two alien races in that area. But someone was lying about them. A tall blue alien stood up. This was the speaker for the Zephyrian race. His voice was high and sharp like a bird. "The humans went into our space without asking. They took land that was ours. They must be punished." More aliens stood up to agree. Big gray aliens with crystal skin nodded their heads. Small red aliens with many eyes all blinked at the same time. It seemed like everyone was against the humans. Hyun-woo stood up slowly. His old legs hurt a little. "We did not take any land. We helped stop the fighting between the Zephyrians and the Rock people. We have papers that prove this." He held up his computer and showed the files on the big screen. There were messages from both alien races asking for human help. There were pictures of human ships bringing food and medicine to hurt aliens. There were agreements signed by everyone. But the forum's computer said, "These papers are not real." "The vote says the humans are guilty." Da-Un's mouth fell open. "Not real? But we have—" "The computer has spoken," said another alien. This one looked like a big bug with sharp teeth. "Humans must pay for their crimes." More and more aliens started, talking at once. Their voices got louder and angrier. Some said humans should give up their colony worlds. Others said human ships should not be allowed in most parts of space. A few even said humans should not be allowed to trade with other races. Hyun-woo felt his heart break a little. He thought about all the times humans had helped these aliens. When the Crystal People's sun was dying, human scientists had fixed it. When the bird race had a bad sickness, human doctors had found the cure. When space pirates attacked the peaceful flower folk, human soldiers had saved them. But none of that seemed to matter now. The computer began counting votes. "Who votes to punish the humans?" Hands and claws and tentacles went up all around the room. One by one, the votes were counted. 347 races voted yes. Only 12 races did not vote at all. Not one single race voted to help the humans. Da-Un felt tears in her eyes. How can they do this to us? Hyun-woo was quiet for a long time. He looked around the room at all the aliens who had turned against his people. Some of them would not even look at him. Others smiled mean smiles like they were happy to hurt humans. Finally, he stood up again. This time, his voice was strong and clear. Everyone in the room could hear him. "We came here believing in something good," he said. "We thought this place was about being fair. We thought it was about helping each other. We thought words were better than weapons." The room got very quiet. Even the aliens who hated humans wanted to hear what he would say. "But today, you have shown us the truth," Hyun-woo continued. "This forum is not about being fair. It is about the strong hurting the weak. It is about many people ganging up on one." He looked around the room one more time. "So we are done. Humans will not come here anymore. We quit the Galactic Forum right now." Da-yoon stood up too. Together, they walked toward the door. Their footsteps echoed in the quiet room. As they reached the exit, the aliens began to cheer. They clapped and whistled and made happy noises. They thought they had won. They thought they had put the humans in their place. Hyun-woo stopped at the door and looked back. "You will miss us more than you know," he said quietly. Then he and Da-yoon walked out, leaving the celebrating aliens behind. None of them understood what they had just done. They had just made the biggest mistake in the history of the galaxy. As Hyun-woo and Da-yoon got on their ship to go home, the aliens were still cheering. They were so happy to be rid of the humans. They thought their problems were over. They had no idea that their real problems were just beginning. Captain Tae-ho-yoon was drinking coffee on the bridge of his ship when the message came. The UES Dauntless was a big warship floating near the edge of human space. Tae-ho had been watching the border between human worlds and alien worlds for 3 years now. It was usually a quiet job. The message screen lit up with urgent red letters. Tae-ho read it once, then read it again to make sure he understood. All human ships return home now. All human workers leave alien places. We are not part of the Galactic Forum anymore. Tae-ho set down his coffee cup. His hands were steady, but his mind was racing. He had heard rumors that things were going badly at the Forum, but he never thought it would come to this. "Communications officer," he called. "Send this message to all human ships and stations. We are going home." Across the galaxy, the same message went out to every human. Dr. Soo-jin Lee was working in her laboratory on a space station when she got the news. She was trying to figure out how to make dead planets come alive again. 3 different alien races were helping with the research. Soo-jin looked at her alien friends. They had worked together for 2 years. She liked them. They were smart and funny, and they cared about helping people just like she did. "I have to go," she told them. "My people are calling me home." The aliens looked confused. "But the project is almost finished," said one of them. "We are so close to success." "I know," Soo-jin said sadly. "But I have to follow orders," she began, packing up her equipment. All the computers and machines that could bring dead worlds back to life went into boxes. The aliens watched in shock as everything they had worked for disappeared. On the other side of the galaxy, Admiral Min-ho Choi was reading the same message. He was in charge of human peacekeeping forces. Right now, human soldiers were stopping wars in 17 different places. Without the humans, aliens would start fighting again. Min-ho called his officers together. "Pack everything. We are leaving all war zones immediately." "But sir," said one young officer, "if we leave, the spiral war will start again. Millions of people will die." "I know," Min-ho said, "but those people voted to kick us out of the forum. If they do not want our help in politics, maybe they do not want our help in wars either." The news spread quickly through space. Human traders got the message while they were delivering food to hungry worlds. Human doctors got it while they were treating sick aliens. Human teachers got it while they were helping alien children learn to read. Subin Kang was on a ship full of medicine when her message came. She was taking the medicine to the Talon Empire. The Talons were mean, scary aliens who did not trust anyone. But they trusted Subin because she had always kept her promises to them. Subin's ship was almost at the Talon homeworld when she had to turn around. The Talons sent desperate messages asking why she was leaving. She could only say, "My people need me at home." The Talons had never trusted anyone before humans came along. Now their only friends in the galaxy were leaving them. On Earth, President Yun-Ha Lim was getting ready to speak to all of humanity. She stood in front of cameras that would send her words to every human world. Her face was calm, but her heart was angry. "My fellow humans," she began. "Today, the Galactic Forum told us we are not wanted. They said we are criminals. They said we must be punished for helping others." She paused and looked directly into the camera. "They have forgotten that we saved the Crystal People's son. They have forgotten that we cured the bird race's plague. They have forgotten that we stopped the space pirates from hurting innocent people." Her voice got stronger. "If they do not want us in their forum, then we will not be there. If they do not want our help, then they will not get it. Humans will find our own way among the stars." All over human space, people watched and listened. Some were angry, some were sad, but all of them understood. The aliens had made their choice. Now humans would make theirs. The changes happened fast. Human peacekeepers packed their things and left war zones. Alien fighters who had been held apart by human soldiers suddenly found themselves face to face with their enemies again. Human scientists stopped sharing their discoveries. Alien researchers who had been working on amazing new technologies suddenly found themselves alone with problems they could not solve. Human traders stopped bringing food and supplies to alien worlds. Planets that had been depending on human help suddenly found their shelves empty and their people hungry. Human doctors stopped answering calls for help. When the next plague or disaster hit an alien world, the emergency channels that used to connect to human hospitals were now quiet. The aliens did not notice at first. They were too busy celebrating their victory over the humans. They threw parties and made speeches about how great they were. They talked about how they had put the arrogant humans in their place. But engineer Ji-Hoon Bang was watching everything from a hidden human listening post. He sat in front of screens that showed news from all over the galaxy. At first, all the news was about alien celebrations. Then, slowly, other news started to come in. A fight had broken out between two alien races that humans used to keep separated. A disease was spreading on an alien world, and their doctors could not stop it. A planet was running out of food because human traders were no longer coming. Ji-Hoon wrote down every piece of bad news in his report. The list grew longer every day. Captain Bora Jang was doing the same thing from her science ship. She used long-range sensors to watch what was happening in alien space. What she saw made her worried. Ships were moving in ways that meant war was coming. Trade routes that humans used to protect were now empty and dangerous. The careful balance that had kept peace in the galaxy was falling apart. But the aliens still did not understand what was happening. They thought their problems were just bad luck. They thought things would get better on their own. They had no idea that humans had been the ones keeping everything working. They had no idea that human diplomats had been preventing wars. Human scientists had been solving problems, and human soldiers had been protecting the innocent. Now all of that was gone, and the galaxy was about to learn just how much they had lost. The aliens had wanted the humans to leave. They had gotten their wish soon they would wish they had never made it. 3 months had passed since the humans left. Engineer Ji-Hoon Bang sat in his hidden watching post, looking at screens full of bad news. The coffee in his cup had gone cold hours ago, but he was too busy to drink it anyway. The first screen showed a war. The Zephyrians had attacked the Crystal People without warning. Their blue ships shot lasers at crystal cities, breaking them into millions of pieces. The Crystal People shot back with energy beams that turned Zephyrian ships into metal dust. For 2 years, this war had been quiet because human peacekeepers kept both sides apart. But the peacekeepers were gone now. Old anger had come back stronger than ever. Ji-hoon changed to another screen. This one showed the Void Hunters moving their black ships towards smaller alien worlds. The Void Hunters were big and mean and liked to take over planets. Before, they had been stopped by treaties that humans helped write. Now those treaties were just words on paper that nobody cared about. A message came in from the gentlefolk of Andraxis. These aliens were small and peaceful and never hurt anyone. They had fuzzy pink fur and big, gentle eyes. Their message was full of fear. "Please help us," they said. "The Void Hunters are coming. They have big ships with weapons. We have nothing to fight them with. Is anyone listening? Please, someone help us." Ji-hoon felt sad reading their message. Before, humans would have sent ships to protect them. Now, the gentlefolk were alone. He switched to the news from the Galactic Forum. The forum was trying to find people to stop all the new wars. But every time they asked someone to help, the answer was the same. "Why should we risk our ships for? Strangers?" the aliens said. "Let them solve their own problems." This was not how humans would have answered. Humans always helped people who needed it, even when it was dangerous. But humans were not there anymore. Captain Bo-Ra Jong was seeing the same things from her science ship. Her long-range sensors showed military ships moving everywhere. Aliens who had been friends were now enemies. Aliens who had been neutral were picking sides. "Captain," said her science officer, "I am reading massive energy signatures from the hegemony border. It looks like both sides are building up for a major attack." Bo-Ra looked at the data on her screen. The numbers were scary. Both sides had enough weapons to destroy entire star systems. How long until they start fighting? Maybe a week. Maybe less. Bo-Ra remembered when this same conflict had almost started 2 years ago. Human diplomats had worked for months to prevent it. They had talked to both sides, found compromises, and made peace. It had been hard work, but it had saved millions of lives. Now there was nobody to stop it. Back on the forum station, Director Velthar was beginning to understand what had happened. Velthar was a Zephyrian who had led the vote against the humans. At the time, he had felt proud and strong. Now he felt worried and confused. He sat in his office looking at reports from all over the galaxy. Every report was about fighting or sickness or hunger or fear. Before the humans left, his desk was usually covered with reports about peace treaties and successful trade deals and scientific discoveries. Velthar called his assistant. "Bring me all the peace treaties from the last 50 years. When the files came, Velthar started reading. What he found made his blood run cold. Every single major peace treaty had human names on it. Every successful trade agreement had been helped by human negotiators. Every time a war had been prevented, humans had been involved. He looked at more files. Medical breakthroughs that saved. Lives humans had helped. New technologies that made life better. Humans had shared their knowledge. Disasters that had been handled quickly. Humans had sent aid. The humans had not just been members of the forum. They had been the glue that held everything together. Velthar's hands shook as he reached for his communicator. He tried to call the human embassy. The line was dead. He tried to call Earth directly. No answer. He tried to reach any human anywhere in the galaxy. Silence. The humans were really gone, and without them everything was falling apart. On the other side of the galaxy, the Talon Empire was getting ready for war. The Talons were fierce warriors with sharp claws and sharper teeth. They had been enemies with the hegemony for 1,000 years. The only thing that had stopped them from fighting was their friendship with the humans. Subin Kang had taught them that trading was better than raiding. She had shown them that keeping promises made them stronger than breaking them. But Subin was gone now. The Talon leaders looked at their old enemies and remembered why they had hated them. War drums began to beat on every Talon world. Meanwhile, the scholars of Rigel were slowly starving. These aliens were very smart but very weak. They spent all their time thinking and reading and learning. They could not grow food or build machines very well. For years, humans had protected the trade routes that brought food to Rigel. Human traders had made sure the scholars always had what they needed. In return, the scholars had shared their knowledge with everyone. Now the trade routes were full of pirates. No one wanted to risk their ships to bring food to Rigel. The scholars sent desperate messages asking for help, but nobody answered. General Kyung-Soo Park was reading intelligence reports at human military headquarters. Each report made him shake his head sadly. He had been a soldier for 30 years. He had seen many wars, but he had never seen anything like this. The entire galaxy is going crazy, he told his staff. Wars are starting everywhere. Trade is breaking down. Peaceful races are being attacked by their stronger neighbors. Should we do something, sir? Asked a young officer. General Park was quiet for a long time. Our orders are clear. We stay in human space. We protect human worlds. What happens in alien space is not our problem anymore. But even as he said it, he felt bad. It went against everything humans believed in to watch innocent people suffer and do nothing. The reports kept coming in. The spiral conflict had claimed 4 star systems. The trade route wars had destroyed dozens of cargo ships. Refugee ships full of displaced families wandered through space looking for safe places to land. Commander Hyejin Oh was monitoring communications. From the forum when she heard something that made her stop. It was a message from the forum to Earth, marked with the highest priority. Please respond, the message said. We need to talk. The situation is getting out of control. We may have made a mistake. More messages followed. Then more. The tone changed from demanding to asking to begging. We were wrong, one message said. The galaxy needs human help. Please come back. Hyejin showed the messages to her commander. Should we respond, sir? No, he said. They made their choice. Now they have to live with it. But deep down, he wondered how long they could watch the galaxy burn before their conscience made them act. Humans were not good at ignoring people who needed help, even people who had been mean to them. For now, though, the humans stayed quiet. They watched and waited while the galaxy learned what life was like without them. It was not a lesson the aliens would ever forget. 6 months had passed since the humans left the forum. The galaxy was on fire. General Kyung-Soo Park stood in front of a huge wall screen that showed the whole galaxy. Red dots marked where wars were happening. Yellow dots showed where people were starving. Orange dots meant refugee camps full of homeless families. There were so many colored dots that parts of the map looked like rainbow storms. How many dead this week? He asked his intelligence officer. 2 billion, sir. Maybe more. The numbers are hard to count because some entire planets have gone dark. The general rubbed his tired eyes. He had not slept well in months. Every night, he dreamed about all the people dying while humans did nothing to help. Any word from Earth about changing our orders? No, sir. The High Council says we stay out of alien conflicts. Across the galaxy, the spiral conflict had eaten up 14 star systems like a hungry monster. What started as a small fight between 2 alien races had grown into something huge and terrible. Everyone was choosing sides. Everyone was fighting. The Zephyrians and Crystal people were still shooting at each other. Their war had spread to 6 other races who got caught in the middle. Whole worlds were empty now, their people either dead or running away to safer places. But there were no safe places anymore. Captain Young-Ho Nam was patrolling the edge of human space when he saw something that made his heart hurt. A long line of refugee ships was trying to reach human worlds. The ships were old and broken and full of holes. Inside were families who had lost everything. Captain, his communications officer said, the lead ship is asking for permission to land on New Sol. They have children on board who are sick and hungry. Young-Ho looked at the refugee ships through his viewing screen. He could see aliens pressing their faces against the windows, looking at his human ship with hope in their eyes. "Tell them they cannot enter human space," he said quietly. "Our orders are clear." "But sir, there are children." "I know!" Young-Ho snapped. Then he took a deep breath. "I know, but if we help them, more will come. Soon we will have millions of refugees and our own people will suffer." The refugee ships turned away and disappeared into the darkness. Young-Ho watched them go and felt like a piece of his soul had died. Meanwhile, Commander Hyejin-Oh was listening to communications from the forum. The messages Earth was getting had changed a lot since the beginning. At first, the aliens had been angry and demanding. Then they had been polite and asking. Now they were desperate and begging. The latest message was from the Crystalline Collective. These proud aliens had never asked anyone for help before, but now their harmonic voice was broken and sad. "Humanity," the message said, "we were wrong. We see that now. The galaxy is dying without you. Our children are starving. Our worlds are burning. We do not know how to fix what we broke." Another message came from the Zephyrians. "Please forgive us. We thought we were strong enough alone. We were wrong. Come back. Save us from ourselves." Even the Void Hunters sent a message. These dark aliens had never shown weakness before, but now they admitted they could not control all the territory they had taken. Rebels were fighting them everywhere. Their empire was falling apart. "The old ways were better," their message said. "When humans kept the peace, everyone prospered. Now we have everything and nothing. Help us find the path back to stability." Doctor. One Shik Ryu was studying all this chaos from a human research station beyond the galaxy's edge. He was a scientist who liked numbers and facts more than emotions. His job was to figure out what would happen next. The numbers he found were terrifying. "According to my calculations," he told the Human High Council in his report, "galactic civilization will completely collapse within 2 years, maybe less." He showed them charts and graphs that painted a picture of total disaster. "Trade networks are breaking down. Food distribution has stopped. Medical supplies are not reaching sick planets. Scientific research has halted. The aliens are entering a new dark age." The worst part was what was happening to the peaceful races. The gentle folk of Andraxis had been conquered by the Void Hunters. Their pink cities were now black with Void Hunter ships. The fuzzy aliens who had never hurt anyone were now slaves in their own homes. The scholars of Rigel were almost extinct. Only 1 million of them were left out of the billion who had lived there before. They were too weak to fight and too smart to give up. They kept sending messages full of their knowledge to anyone who would listen, hoping someone would remember them after they were gone. The peaceful garden worlds where flower-like aliens grew. Beautiful plants were now battlegrounds. The flowers had been trampled by armies marching back and forth. The aliens who had spent thousands of years creating beauty were now learning how to make weapons. Back on Earth, President Yoon-Ha Lim was meeting with the Human High Council. These were the smartest and wisest humans from all over human space. They had to decide what to do. "The question is simple," she told them. "Do we stay isolated and let the galaxy burn? Or do we go back and try to help?" Some council members wanted to stay out of alien problems. "They chose this," said one older man. "They voted to kick us out. Let them deal with the consequences." Others felt they had to help. "We are humans," said a woman from the outer colonies. "We do not abandon people who need us, even people who have been mean to us." The debate went on for hours. Outside the meeting room, people gathered to hear what would be decided. Some carried signs saying, "Stay safe," and others carried signs saying, "Save lives." In his retirement home in Busan, old Ambassador Hyun-Woo Kim was reading all the desperate messages from the aliens. Each message made him sadder than the last. These were the same aliens who had cheered when he walked out of the forum. Now they were begging him to come back. His wife Da-Un sat beside him. She was reading the messages, too. They really did not understand what we did for them, did they? She said. No, Hyun-woo replied. They thought peace just happened by itself. They thought trade routes stayed safe by magic. They thought wars stopped because people got tired of fighting. What should we do? Hyun-woo was quiet for a long time. He looked out the window at the ocean. When he was young, he had dreamed of bringing all the galaxy's peoples together in friendship. That dream had been broken in the Forum. But maybe it could be built again in a new way. We are humans, he said finally. We help people. Even people who have hurt us. Even people who do not deserve it. That is who we are. The turning point came when a message arrived from an unexpected source. It was from the Talon Empire, the fierce warriors who had been humanity's first real alien friends. The message was simple. Subin, if you can hear this, please come back. We are lost without you. We remember what you taught us about honor and friendship. But we are forgetting. Soon we will be just another race of killers. You saved us from ourselves once. Please do it again. When Subin Kang heard that message in her apartment on Earth, she cried. The Talons had never asked for help before. They had never admitted weakness. If they were begging, things must be very bad indeed. That night, she called President Lim. Madam President, she said, we have to go back. Not to the Forum, not to the old system. But we have to save what we can. The president was quiet for a moment. Then she said, I know. I have been thinking the same thing. But if we go back, it will be on our terms this time. What do you mean? We will not beg for a seat at their table again. If they want our help, they will come to our table. And they will come with respect, not demands. Plans began to form. Not to return to the broken Forum, but to build something new. Something better. Something where humans would never again be taken for granted. The galaxy had taught itself a hard lesson about what happened when humans were not there. Now it was time for humans to teach the galaxy a lesson about what respect really meant. The aliens had pushed humans away when they thought they did not need them. Soon, they would learn what it really meant to need someone's help. President Eun-ha Lim stood before the Human High Council one last time. Outside the windows of the meeting hall, she could see Earth's blue oceans and white clouds. It was beautiful and peaceful, but in the darkness beyond, the galaxy was dying. We have 3 choices, she told the council members. We can stay here and watch the galaxy burn. We can go back and pretend nothing happened, or we can try something new. Admiral Jin Wook Seo spoke first. He was the head of human military forces. If we stay isolated, billions more will die. The chaos will eventually reach our borders. We cannot hide forever. Dr. Yeon-soo Kim, the new head of diplomatic services, nodded. If we go back to the old system, the same thing will happen again. The aliens will take our help for granted until they decide they do not need us anymore. So what do you suggest? Asked an elderly council member. President Lim activated a holographic display that showed a space station design. It was huge and beautiful, with gardens and meeting halls and docking bays for thousands of ships. We build our own diplomatic center, she said. Not in the old Forum space, not where the aliens expect us to be. We build it at the center of the galaxy, where everyone can reach it equally. She pointed to different parts of the design. But here is the important part. This time, we make the rules. Anyone who wants human help must come to us. Anyone who wants to use our station must agree to our principles of fairness and justice. The council members looked at each other. It was a bold plan. Instead of asking to be let back into the aliens club, humans would start their own club, with better rules. What if they refuse? Someone asked. Then they can keep fighting their wars without us, President Lim replied. We have seen what the galaxy looks like when humans are not there. If the aliens want our help badly enough, they will come on our terms. The vote was close, but the decision was made. Humanity would return to galactic politics, but only as leaders, not as followers. Meanwhile, old Ambassador Hyunwoo Kim was packing his retirement things. At 70 years old, he was tired and his body hurt. But when President Lim asked him to lead this new effort, he could not say no. "Are you sure about this?" his wife Daun asked. "You could stay retired. Enjoy your garden. Watch the sunset." Hyunwoo smiled. "I have been watching sunsets for 6 months while the galaxy burned. I cannot do it anymore. If there is a chance to save even some of those people, I have to try." The construction of the new station began immediately. Human engineers worked faster than they had ever worked before. Every day they waited was another day that people died in alien wars. Captain Young-ho Nam got new orders while patrolling the border. Instead of staying in human space, he was told to take his ship to the galaxy's center. His job was to protect the construction workers building the new station. When he arrived, he could not believe what he saw. The construction site was huge, with thousands of human ships working together. Giant metal beams were being welded into place. Computer systems were being installed. Gardens were being planted in the station's parks. But the most amazing thing was who else was there. Alien ships were arriving every day, not to attack, but to watch. Word had spread quickly through the galaxy that humans were building something. The aliens did not know what it was, but they were desperate enough to investigate anything that might bring hope. The first alien ship to make contact was from the Talon Empire. It was a small, fast ship with diplomatic markings. When Captain Nam's communications officer told him about it, he almost could not believe it. "Sir, the Talon ship is requesting permission to approach. They say they have a message for any human who will listen." Nam thought about all the times human ships had been turned away from alien space. Now the roles were reversed. Tell them they can come close, but no weapons active, and record everything they say. The Talon captain appeared on the communication screen. He was a fierce-looking alien with sharp teeth and scars on his face, but his eyes looked tired and sad. "I am Captain Korath of the Talon Empire," he said. "I bring a message from our war leaders to your president." He held up a small data crystal. "We surrender." Captain Nam blinked in surprise. "You what?" "We surrender. Not to conquest, but to friendship. We were wrong to support your exile from the Forum. We were wrong to think we could live without human wisdom. If humans will have us as friends again, the Talon Empire will submit to human judgment in all matters of war and peace." It was the first crack in the wall of alien pride. News of the Talon's surrender spread through space faster than light itself. Other alien races began to panic. If the fierce Talons were giving up, maybe the situation was even worse than they thought. More ships began arriving at the construction site. The Crystal people sent a delegation. The Zephyrians sent their best. Diplomats, even some of the smaller races that had voted against humanity, sent representatives. Dr. Yeon-soo Kim arrived at the station when it was half finished. She immediately began setting up temporary meeting rooms. The aliens were so desperate to talk to humans that they were willing to meet in unfinished buildings. "What are our conditions?" she asked Ambassador Hyunwoo during their first planning meeting. Hyunwoo had thought about this for months. First, they must admit they were wrong. Not just say sorry, but truly understand what they did. Second, they must agree to real justice, not just mob rule voting. Third, they must respect human judgment in disputes. And if they refuse, then they can go back to their wars. The first formal meeting took place in a construction bay that still smelled of welding metal. Representatives from 30 alien races sat on temporary chairs and looked at the humans who might save their civilizations. Hyunwoo stood before them, looking much older than when he had walked out of the Forum 7 months ago. But his voice was still strong. "You know why you are here," he said. "Your worlds are burning. Your people are dying. The peace you took for granted is gone." Some aliens looked ashamed. Others looked angry. All of them looked desperate. "But we did not ask you to come here," Hyunwoo continued. "You came because you need us. You came because you finally understand what we were doing all those years." A Zephyrian delegate stood up. It was Director Velthar, the same alien who had led the vote against humanity. We made a mistake, he said quietly. We did not know. We thought peace was natural. We thought trade routes stayed safe by themselves. We thought wars ended because people got tired of fighting. And now you know different, Hyunwoo said. Yes. Now we know that humans were the reason everything worked. Humans were the glue that held our civilization together. Other aliens began to speak. One by one, they admitted their mistakes. They confessed that they had been jealous of human success. They acknowledged that they had been ungrateful for human help. The Crystal People delegate sang a harmony of sorrow that made everyone in the room feel the weight of their tragedy. The Gentlefolk representative, one of the few survivors of his race, spoke with tears in his big eyes about watching his people enslaved. When all the confessions were done, Hyunwoo spoke again. If humanity agrees to help you again, it will not be like before. We will not come to your forum and beg for a voice. You will come to our station and earn our help. He gestured to the construction happening around them. This station will be neutral ground where all races are equal. But the rules will be human rules. Justice over politics, facts over opinions, actions over words. And if we agree, asked the Zephyrian, then we stop the wars. We heal the sick. We feed the hungry. We do what humans have always done. We help people who need help. The aliens looked at each other. They had come here hoping for mercy. Instead, they were being offered something better. A chance to build a galaxy that actually worked. One by one, they agreed. It took 3 more months to finish the station, but the effects were felt immediately. Just knowing that humans were coming back was enough to stop some of the smaller conflicts. Refugee ships began heading toward the construction site, hoping for protection. Subin Kang was among the first humans to start working again with aliens. The Talons had kept their word about surrender. They treated her like a queen when she returned to their space, begging her to help them remember how to be honorable again. Captain Taiho Yoon found himself escorting the first peaceful trade convoy. In months, alien merchants who had been too scared to travel were now willing to risk it if human warships protected them. Dr. Soo-Jin Lee restarted her terraforming research, but with new rules. Aliens who wanted access to the technology had to prove they would use it to help people, not to gain power over others. The old forum station was abandoned now. It drifted empty and dark, a reminder of what happened when fear and jealousy ruled instead of wisdom and fairness. The new station, when it was finally complete, was everything the old forum was not. It was beautiful instead of cold. It was fair instead of biased. It was hopeful instead of bitter. On opening day, Ambassador Hyun-woo stood in the main assembly hall and looked out at representatives from over 300 alien races. They had all come voluntarily. They had all agreed to human leadership. They had all chosen cooperation over conflict.